And Vladimir Putin, what do you want for Christmas? Well, I'd maybe like to take Ukraine back. Oh, well, I'd have to see if Joe Biden was asleep at the switch. Of course he is. He always is. Let me play, and if you happen to be watching The Blaze, it's worth putting down your coffee or whatever and watching Vladimir Putin's face during this. But listen how this started. Joe Biden didn't have his mic on. So like an old grandpa, he's like fiddling with the dials. I'm just looking at the dial, trying to fiddle with it. Is this micro? Hello? Oh my gosh, watch.
Приветствую вас, господин президент.
There you go. Hello.
Добрый день.
Good to see you again. Unfortunately, last time we didn't get to see one another.
Приветствую
Now
вас,
watch.
господин
This is
президент.
from his point of view, looking right at Putin.
There you go. Hello.
With him smiling and looking off to the side.
Good to see you again. Unfortunately,
Watch how
last time
dismissive
we didn't get to see one another at the G20. I hope next time we meet, we do it in person.
К сожалению, не пришлось увидеться на встрече большой.
Do you see that expression? Like, maybe. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Putin is an evil dude, and remember, he is. If you watch videos of him, his gun hand, when he was a KGB agent for so long, when he walks, both hands don't swing like a normal person walking. Only one hand swings because he was trained to keep his hand where the revolver is, and he's still the KGB strongman. He is way ahead of us and knows exactly what the deal is. When Joe Biden got into office, believe it or not, all this damage has been done in 1 year. When he first got into office on January 20th, one of the first things he did was allow the pipeline to be built from Russia into Europe. Now, if Donald Trump would have done that on one of his first days, would we not all be screaming? I know I would have. Whoa! Is there a deal being brokered here? How come that's happening on one of the first days? That's a very, very big deal. If Donald Trump would have done that, they would have used that as proof he was in bed with Vladimir Putin. But nary a peep out of anyone. So you know, this pipeline is the pipeline that Ronald Reagan warned about. It's been a very big deal for a very long time. So Joe Biden gets in. One of the first things he does, hey, let him build the pipeline. What's the big deal? Poland and Ukraine get on the phone and say, you can't do that. Don't do that. That makes him more likely to invade our nations. That's crazy talk. We got him over the barrel. Do you? How do you? He started building the pipeline 4 days after the inauguration of Joe Biden. 4 days. And now he's sitting there with all of the cards. He's got Poland. He has Ukraine. He has Europe. He can squeeze the lifeblood out of them this holiday season, this winter when it's freezing cold and everybody in the West is like, we got to do something about global warming. Let's turn off the nuclear power plants that have nothing to do with global warming and are the safest kind of energy the world has ever invented. Let's turn those off. So as we're turning everything off, he's pumping more oil in. And we're somehow or another going to stop him? We're going to stop him. Please play the cut of the National Security Advisor, Biden's message to Putin. Cut 6.
Their assessment so far was that Putin had not made a decision over whether to invade Ukraine. So did President Biden get clarity from him on whether or not that is his intention?
We still do not believe that President Putin has made a decision. What President Biden did today was lay out very clearly the consequences if he chooses to move. He also laid out an alternative path that is fundamentally in keeping with the basic principles and propositions that have guided America in the Euro-Atlantic area for the past 70 years.
Okay.
And ultimately, we will see in the days ahead through actions, not through words, what course of action Russia chooses to take.
Well, he laid it out. You do that, there are going to be economic ramifications for Vladimir Putin, and don't laugh that off. I mean, in just a few short months, Joe Biden has almost destroyed our economy. Imagine if he really sets his mind to Russia. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. He's carrying a small stick and barking loudly. He does the opposite. You know, Donald Trump was the least warmongering president I've seen in my lifetime. Every president has talked the same game except for Donald Trump. And not saying that they all wanted war, but they all played the State Department's game. And we played the same game over and over and over. The only one that kind of broke it was Ronald Reagan. And he spooked the hell out of the Russians, caused them to spend all kinds of money, scared the hell out of them. And what happened? They collapsed. We had peace. Donald Trump played this expertly. Because is there any doubt in your mind that if Putin or China or anybody else would have really done something against our national interests, that he would have gone in balls to the wall? No doubt in my mind, Donald Trump would push the button. He would execute a plan and he would win. However, if it's not in our national interest, he's not going in. He wouldn't be going into Ukraine if Russia attacks. So if you're not going to go in, what do? You have to carry a big stick. You want peace, you carry a big stick, and you have a twitchy eye. And you're like, don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't. Because man, holy cow, my eye is twitching and my hand is kind of vibrating on the button right now. I just might do it. And that's what keeps people like Putin at bay. Not Joe Biden. Joe Biden, you know, he gave them what they wanted, the Nord Stream pipeline. He did it even when Ukraine and Poland were screaming, please don't do that. He did it anyway because he knew better. Then what was his second mistake? His second mistake was Afghanistan. When he pulls out of Afghanistan, screws all of our allies, NATO almost falls apart. He looks completely weak. That's his second problem. His third problem is there were no repercussions for anyone on Afghanistan. He still thinks it was fine. There was no repercussion for anybody in the Pentagon. Do you trust your kids to be a soldier under this regime with the people in the Pentagon? I've always said, you know, the president is the president, but the Pentagon, they're at least competent. I don't believe that anymore. I believe the soldiers are the military, but the people they take their commands from, they're morons. Morons. So yesterday they were asked, So are we planning for evacuation in case he does something in Ukraine and we can get the Americans out? You know what the White House responded with? Not the same situation. No, I mean, we don't have to plan those things. You know, we've got contingency plans on everything. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you knew what was coming in Afghanistan and you didn't do it. The question, follow up, did you learn any lessons from Afghanistan? Let's not confuse these two. I mean, Afghanistan required us to quickly get Americans out of a war zone. And this is nothing like that. If Russia invades, it would be us getting Americans out of a war zone. So I think you can see they just don't compare. Putin, if Putin goes in, God forbid this country goes to war. If Putin goes in, you better have some tough damn sanctions because you just sold the freedom of an entire country out. For what, Joe? For what? What did you get from Russia by okaying this pipeline? I don't think his son was an artist yet, so I don't know if he sold any art. But what was it that we as the United States got in exchange for that, besides the loss of freedom for an entire country? And if he does invade, I can guarantee you Taiwan will be next. And then we are a nobody country. A nobody country. And I don't have a problem with not being the world's policeman. I actually kind of like that. Be nice to kick up your feet once in a while and be Canada. Not have to worry about everybody else. But I'm telling you, we're the world's reserve currency. When we are nothing, so is our money. And that's when, well, let me just put it this way. It'll be good by 2030 because you'll own nothing. And you'll like it.